If a lifter skips his cardio, but nobody's in the gym to see it, does it really matter? Can it just be scoffed off as, nothingness into the ethos, to be completely disregarded and forgotten about and said, no biggie. No biggie. It's not how I roll. Nobody else I know does cardio. Why should I? Right? Everybody else is freaking stealing purses. Why shouldn't I get a quick buck? Everybody else is well, you get the gist. I was about to say, like popping a pill, just like Kramer. Yeah, it's. I didn't watch the show, but I see the clips. Yeah, why go outside when you can just pop a pill? Oh my goodness. Yeah, all I can say is you're missing out if you're not the cardio type, right? So a little bit later in the morning, I'm gonna bounce around for a bit first, but 30 minutes, seated bike, playing your phone, watch a movie, and before you know it, it's over. Right? Yesterday, I got through 30 minutes of. I didn't get through, but I spent the 30 minutes sitting on the bike watching the beginning of Reservoir Dogs, and then continued to finish it into the morning as I had my my oatmeal and eggs. And frankly, the cardio portion, don't even remember it. And I'm not looking back and thinking, holy crap, 30 minutes of cardio yesterday. I did so much. I do look back at, earlier a couple of months ago when I was doing 2 hours of cardio a day. That was feeling a little wild. But with just a regular 30 minutes, it's not that crazy. It's simply a situation where you're kind of limiting yourself just based on your belief system. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you can't even really imagine yourself going to the gym just for a cardio session, what are the odds that you're going to do it? Right? Negligible. Right? You got to freaking see it to believe it. No, you got to believe it to achieve it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of there. But either way, this will be kind of the. This is the sort of first stage. I'll get home, eat a couple more meals, and then I've got some back later on. I'll make back a bit of a later lift. Who's to say? But I think I'll just get in there, finish 30, and I will meet you. Actually, I guess I'll meet you right here. For me, it's going to be like 45 minutes from now, but for you, it's going to be like that. There we go. Yeah, I always do that as a little sound check. Make sure the dude. Oh man, I am fucking creaking. I don't know what's going on. That creak disappeared on the way here when it was warm. Maybe something about the temperature. Who's to say? I think we're good, but I might have to take this guy to the shop. Get that checked out later. But no, I was about to say we're in this very interesting world right now, fitness-wise. I'm lifting more correctly than you are. No. You're not lifting as close to correctly as I am. You see, I'm doing it right. You're doing it freaking wrong. Yeah. I gotta pull myself out from this argument entirely, because it's just I think it's a combination of factors, right? Hyper prevalence of just short form gimmick, like 5-second takes, because that's all everybody's watching now, right? Instagram Reels, TikTok Shorts, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, regular TikToks. That's our primary source of knowledge and information. 2 seconds of what this guy said. Damn, that was deep. All right, that's my new training routine for life. So it's a combination of that, more people posting, and with fitness, there's not a lot to change, right? So if you want to make it a little fancier, spice it up, you got to say some new shit. Guys, I'm no longer really working out. I'm simply visualizing my workouts. Ever since I started doing workout visualization training, dude, I've been blowing up, right? Actually, it's kind of cool because now I can just hit, hit whatever muscle I need to hit that day in the car, or in bed, or just really anywhere, even just the comfort of my own home. Like, here, look, I'm gonna imagine myself doing a set of pull downs, and I'm gonna imagine I take it to 3 reps in reserve and really hold the squeeze with a long eccentric. Oh, that was good. Yeah, I'm getting pumped already. Yeah, I'd say too. Excuse me, but no, I was gonna say we've got a variety of demographics tuning into these videos every so often. When do you think was the prime, right? Because I think if we had complete objective knowledge over everything, we'd be able to say very specifically when the prime time to start working out would have been, right? 50s, maybe not. And by 50s I mean the 1850s, right? When the original John Hack was around, or whoever freaking came up with the bench press, like the first bench press. I think around then probably wasn't ideal, but I don't think I'd be the lifter I am today if I started working out right now. Not to dog on anybody that is, but I guess I'm just kind of curious on what your take on that matter is. But plan for later today with lats and back traps and rhomboids and everything else fancy in between. Really just gotta go nuts. And by nuts I mean rack them in a kind of reasonably semi-controlled manner. Of course, I don't mind having a little bit of swing if it's a set that kind of calls for it. But yeah, that won't be for a few meals from now. So speaking of meals, how about we just get back to the freaking desk and eat meal number 2. Pre-cardio was about 60 grams of carbs worth of rice, 50 grams of protein worth of ground beef, with some barbecue sauce all kind of mixed together. And I've got a sneaking suspicion that the post-cardio meal will be almost the freaking exact same. Yeah, post-workout, or post-cardio, I guess, I got a meal. Ooh, I spoiled it a little bit. But 50 grams of protein, 60 grams of carbs, about 8 grams of fats, actually rounded up to 10, including the turkey itself, with the low-fat mayonnaise. And what do I got, right? Do I have a bowl of rice and chicken? Do I have oatmeal and ground beef, potatoes and eggs? Not exactly. Now, this is not every meal, of course. Honestly, I haven't had a regular-ass turkey sandwich for quite a while. But, disregarding the potential that this protein isn't awesome, right? Because, of course, if you're thinking about the proteins on, a bird, right, a damn turkey, we're not talking cartilage and collagen. Usually, if you think turkey breast, real contractile tissue, that's what we're calling quality protein, right? And with a lot of deli-based turkeys and things, or deli meats, all sorts of shit's just getting blended up and kind of, mushed together and then sliced off. Now, of course, I think a good chunk of it is certainly covering the amino acid array, which, shit. Now that I say that, I don't think I've heard. That's hardly been a topic of debate. It's always just the training. I haven't heard anybody talk about ideal protein sources for months minimum. But either way, it's definitely covering the spectrum enough, or I could say at least not even just this regular organic deli turkey on the regular, but I can say I'm definitely getting a good portion of the protein I'm aiming for. And then the rest from this morning with the ground beef, and then going into tonight with the eggs and probably more ground beef. Maybe, that's kind of it. I guess I could do some ground turkey too that I have in there, but that's, I think I'll just cook all the ground beef at once and then work my way through it. But, what I'm really concerned with is the caloric value. That doesn't supersede the food's quality, right? Anytime I'll bring up, like, if you eat 1,000 calories of donuts and you still work out, you're going to get leaner. That is an extreme. That is simply an argumentative take to explain the value of calories, right? Because if every day I ate 5,000 calories worth of whatever, I'm going to gain weight. And if every day I ate 2,000 calories worth of whatever, I'm going to lose weight. Now, of course, there's still all the actual effects of everything that you're eating, the actual protein amounts, and, whether or not your fats are saturated or unsaturated, or, if, everybody's talking about all sorts of crazy shit that happens when you fry carbohydrates in, MCT oil, and it makes this. I think there's a point of diminishing returns when it comes to really trying to get every little perfect detail kind of right. Because imagine you got a damn portrait in front of you, or just an empty canvas, and you don't want to make even the slightest, teeniest mistake. Oh, I can't eat eggs because it's got dietary cholesterol. You're missing the point, right? So really, I'm getting a bit more consistent with the meals, timing, size-wise, and just overall, like, ingredient-wise. Frankly, my carbs have been either rice, oats, potatoes for the last, like, month and a half, basically 80% of the time. And then 20% will add up to, like, the occasional Ben and Jerry or some shit like that, or just, regular sandwiches or like toast with breakfast. But I wouldn't sweat it too hard, because you're putting the tree before the forest. Because I think most guys that actually end up, like, complaining, oh man, I can't actually, well, yeah, maybe I'll talk about that on the way to the gym for tomorrow's video. But anybody that's, oh man, I can't freaking gain weight, they're not eating the wrong foods. They're not eating enough food. That's kind of the bigger picture problem when it comes to there. But before I sit and chow down, yeah, you get up here. Come on. Let me scoot this to the side. Look at this guy. Look. It's okay. He doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah. It's nice having a little kitty floating around. This guy sheds, though, just a touch. And he's a little nervous next to the other one, so he'll always hide away in little kind of crevices and corners. But Rambo needs some damn screen time. Screen time on screen like this. He does not need to be scrolling TikTok or anything of the sort. If he got his hands on freaking gym talk right now, he'd be just raking me for not doing full body every day. But either way, I'm going to sit here, eat this. I'm sure once this has kind of passed through me a little more, and I don't feel like I'm sitting on just a chunk of food in my stomach, then I'll be ready for back in, maybe just like an hour and a half or so. I'm not one to eat a meal hours before and, like, make sure I have a totally empty stomach or anything. But if you eat something like 30 minutes before you take your pre-workout, not only is, that food still just sitting in your stomach digesting, and just kind of feels kind of weird, but also, it's going to have kind of a fluffer effect to your actual absorption of all the pre-workout itself. It's like if you drink an energy drink totally fasted right in the morning versus if you have one with food, your kind of rate of absorption, I'm sure somebody could kind of, key in an actual study describing it. It's going to be kind of slowed down, So if I'm getting ready to drink a big ass, like, liter worth of water and pre-workout, so I've got enough fluids to really make use of it, I don't want to have any food getting in the way. So by the time I think this has kind of reached that level, it'll be time to hit some back. So I'll see you then.